everyone, welcome to my Summer Fruits in Watercolor series. If you're new here, my name is Emily Winslow and I love to spread the joy of watercolor to others. In this series, I'll be posting a new video every Tuesday and Friday to my YouTube channel. And in each video, I'll be showing you how to paint a different fruit with watercolor. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint mangoes, which is my #1 favorite fruit. I just went on a trip to Malaysia and they have the absolute best mangoes there, so super excited to show you how to paint these today. Let's go ahead and grab our paintbrushes and get started. Let's start with what materials we are going to be using in today's tutorial. So I have my Praying Oval 16 watercolor kit and 2 brushes. I like to have a size 8 and a size 12. And then we've got our paper, our pencil, and of course our water. You can find these paint materials on my Amazon storefront linked in the description. So as always, let's go ahead and start with our sketch. So I always like to find where our middle point of the painting is going to be and kind of just mark a little dot there to help us guide. And I'm going to start with this bottom mango, and I want it to be a little bit lower than that middle point. So I'm just going to start sketching a half circle here. And we don't want to press down too hard with our pencil. We want it to be a light sketch. Usually once we start painting, we won't see the pencil lines too much. But if you need to erase them a little bit after your painting, that's okay too. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna revisit this, but I wanna just go ahead and do this bigger one here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make the shape of the mango bigger than this little one that we just drew. So we want it to curve in the middle and then get larger towards the top. And then it's going to come back in towards the smaller mango here. And let's go ahead and do our little stem. And our leaf, I just like this leaf to go above the mango. So we're just making a half circle here and then bringing it to a point and going ahead, and we're going to make this overlap with the mango. And then just go ahead and maybe put some little leaves. I always like to just fill in leaves wherever I feel like there's extra space. So yours might look a little different than mine. Just go ahead and put some leaves where you think you might need them. You don't have to put any at the bottom at all if you don't want any. Now, I want to revisit this smaller mango. This part is super important. We are going to be sketching out these little cubes. So when I first did this mango painting, I had to do it over a few times because I wasn't getting the cubes right. So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. We're just going to do some diagonal lines here and just start at the edge and make it curve up a little bit, not too much, and bring it to the end. And we're going to do that a few times here. Go ahead and make it curve up a bit and then bring it down towards the other side. And then one more. So we're going to have a total of 3 lines here. This next part, we're just going to go ahead and start sketching these cubes up here, and that will really start to help our mango take shape. So I'm making squares more like diamonds because we don't want them to be too symmetric. I will say this is probably the hardest fruit out of all the fruit in my series to sketch. So once we make that square, we're taking a line down to make it look like a cube. And then we're just going to keep doing that here. Makes a little more sense when you play around with it a little bit. So just, you know, trial and error here. You can give it a few tries. It definitely took me a few tries to get this one down. And then we're gonna go to our top one over here. This one did make me really crave mango when I was painting it. Mango's one of my favorite fruits, so love mango smoothies. And there's this restaurant in Chicago called Mango, and they have the best mango desserts. You have to try it out if you ever visit. Go ahead and just continue making those cubes. And then last row back here. So I think there's about a total of 4 rows. You can barely see this last one. I'm just barely sketching out those cubes here. Just barely, so you can see them still. And then make sure we still have a layer down here for our bottom skin of the mango. Okay, with that, I think we can go ahead and start our painting. I'm going to start with my bigger brush here, and I'm just gonna start with the bottom mango because I want to let that dry a little bit while we move on to our bigger one. So I'm gonna start by mixing up a very light yellowish color. So I'm just using white and yellow, maybe a bit of orange in here. But we want this to be very, very light. So once you have that color you like, go ahead and just spread that all across the mango. And then we'll continue to layer over this. I'm gonna go ahead and mix up a little bit of a darker yellow. So I want to do yellow and maybe a bit of brown in here even. And I just want to lightly start going at our cubes here. So I'm just gonna go on 2 sides of the cube. I don't want to go across the whole thing because I want to leave a little bit of a highlight. So I'm just kind of picking 2 sides to add some darker color to. We're gonna go over this a few more times to really darken those slices. See how it's like more shadowed in here. We'll go in with some darker colors once it dries a little bit. And go ahead and do one more of those and grabbing some orange to just dot that in. Maybe go a bit on the edge here. Perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and just leave that alone for a bit while we move on to the larger mango. And for this one, I'm gonna do the same thing of mixing up a light color. I'm just gonna do white and a bit of orange here. And I'm just gonna go over the entire mango. And for my tutorials, I love to use this Praying Oval 16 kit because it's the watercolor kit that I started with when I first started watercolor. So I think it's a really great beginner kit if you are just starting out watercolor. I now use Winslow and Newton watercolors a lot. So let me know if you want me to do maybe a more advanced tutorial with those. I just like to do my tutorials with this kit because 1, it's affordable. 2, it's easy for me to show you how to mix these colors, I think, a little bit better. A lot of the tube paints, it's a little bit hard to show you, which colors to use. So I'd definitely be open to making a tutorial with those other watercolors though, if you'd like to see that. And I'm just going in with some darker colors here. And I'm leaving that highlight in the middle of the mango. You want to leave that nice and light. Now I want to add in a bit of red. Mangoes have lots of different colors. They've got orange and reds and some green. So I'm just going in with some different colors here. Some mangoes are, more yellow than others, so totally up to you how you want to do yours. And I continue adding. I'm going to go ahead and add that green now. So I'm going to take a green and a brown. And we're just going to add that to the right side of our mango here. I used to be allergic to mango actually, but I loved it so much and continued to eat it that I just got over that allergy. So I guess that's a way to get over allergies, is to continue eating whatever that is you're allergic to. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but it worked for me. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a darker orange here, kind of just continuing to add wherever I see a darker color needs to be added. So it helps to let it dry a bit so you can kind of see where the painting needs help. So it's like a balance of waiting for parts to dry while also painting while it's still wet. Kind of have to play with that balance. Sometimes it's important to paint while it's still wet, but there are other times where it helps to layer on when it's dry. So it just depends where you are in the painting. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a darker purplish color. So I'm gonna go ahead and take purple, brown. I'm just gonna add this to the bottom part of our mango here. Really add in that color. Now I want to have that blend in with the green a bit, so I'm just gonna actually add more green and blend that in. Watercolor is a lot about blending colors. We want it to look nice and well blended, and sometimes that means adding a bit more water if you need. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to take my smaller brush here and I'm going to start tackling our bottom mango again. So let's go ahead and take this darker orange brown color that we mixed, really marking out those cubes again. So once we have that color, go ahead and just start following your pencil lines. So that's why your sketch is pretty important. Really helps you when we get to this part of knowing where to add that paint. And basically I'm adding this paint to the places that are below the cube that we sketched out, if that makes sense. I don't want to paint on the square that we sketched out. I'm painting on like the sides of it. I think this part will really help our mango start to take shape. When we were on our trip to Malaysia, I got so many mangoes while we were there. There's this amazing restaurant, kind of similar to the one that I was just talking about, that's in Chicago. It was so good. It's basically, the dessert is like a mango puree with tapioca pearls and ice cream on it. It's so good. I wish I could make it, and I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'm just continuing to go around these squares that we sketched out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm wanting to add a bit more of a yellow color onto some of these cubes. So I'm just going to take yellow and just swipe that onto a few of these. Let's go ahead and take a darker color. I'm going to take purple and black here. And now I'm really going to get into these crevices. So I'm going to kind of continue marking out where we just did, but this is just going to add a bit more of picture-matic shadow. And I want to blend that a little bit. Go ahead and grab more purple. Let me know if you have any favorite mango recipes. I don't really bake or cook with any mango. I usually just straight up eat them, and honestly that's probably the best way to eat mangoes. I don't think mangoes really belong in baked goods. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I haven't really had any like mango cake or muffins or anything. Not sure if that would be good. Alright, just doing a few more here. Oops. I want to go ahead and grab a reddish brown color. We want to make sure we don't forget our little skin at the bottom. So go ahead and just add that in. Adding that really thin towards the end here. We don't want that to be showing too much. So go ahead and just add that in. And then we want to, let's go ahead and do our leaves. So I want to mix up a light green color. So I like to use white and green to start with. And I'm just going to spread that over the whole leaf. So leaves are super easy, where you can just start with the tip of your brush and then press down your brush. Super easy. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a darker green color here. Go ahead and add that at the bottom and make that blend in better by wetting your brush and pressing down. So you can always help blend colors by getting your brush a little bit wet, spreading that around. Okay, let's move on to the other leaves. Let's go ahead and take that light green color again, and we're just going to do that here on the bottom. And we're just going to bring that to a point. And then let's go ahead and do one here. The second one. Same thing, let's go ahead and grab our darker green. I always try to work fast once I add on that base layer to get in my shadows, because I like it to blend nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add our little stem here. So take a brown and white. I'm going to start. Let's go ahead and take a brown and maybe a bit of black. Oops. A little too much black. And then go ahead and just bring that up. A little line here. And then go ahead and just connect our leaf lightly to the stem. Super simple. And the last thing I'm going to do here is add a little bit of a shadow at the bottom. So I'm going to take a really light color. Just go ahead and mix up light with maybe a little bit of black or brown. And lightly go under our mango. Totally optional to do this part, but I always think this shadow kind of just adds a little bit more to the painting. Makes the mango look like it's sitting on a table or a surface. And then once we have that base, go ahead and grab a purple or blue, black, just to grab a darker color. And we're gonna add that in near the top of our shadow. It's blending nicely with the base that we just laid on. A little bit more. And if you feel like you need to remove a little bit of paint, go ahead and just wet your brush and swipe over it. And we're all done with our mango painting. I hope you join me for my next video. I hope you all enjoyed this video today and learned a little bit more about how to paint mangoes with watercolor. If you've been following along on this challenge, I'd love if you post your art to social media and tag me at Watercolor with Emily. Now, our next video is the last one in our series, so I will be teaching you how to paint kiwis with watercolor. If you're interested in following along, go ahead and subscribe to my channel to be the first to watch. And as always, you can find me on social media at Watercolor with Emily or my website, watercolorwithemily.com. And until we paint again next time.